Hello, welcome to One on One. I'm your host, Greg Walker. Got a great guest joining us today on the show. He's a good friend. He's the owner partner of Gibbs Electric Company. They've been in business over 65 years in this area, probably the oldest company like that around. He's also the county commissioner. He's served on the commission for quite a while. We're going to get his thoughts, opinions, and comments on a wide array of subject matter. I want you to settle back, relax, and enjoy a fun, down-to-earth conversation with a good man. Robert Gibbs is in the house. He'll join us. Robert No Gibbs. Robert No Gibbs. Not yes. He likes to vote no. I like that. We'll be back after this.
Thank you. It's the big savings event at Matthews Nissan in Clarksville or MatthewsNissan.com. $7,500 off a new Altima. $7,500 unbelievable. $6,500 off a new Road. $2,500 off a new Frontier. New Versa, $9,999. Save big on 400 new. You're going to love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices. Matthews Nissan.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
For 100 years, Neil Tarpley Parchment Funeral Home has honored legacies. We believe every family deserves a special time of celebrating a life well lived.
Neil Tarpley Parchment, people who care, a name you can trust.
Welcome to our show today. In the house, County Commissioner Robert Gibbs joins us. Always good to have Robert.
Good to see you, Greg.
Good to see you, sir. You know, we were just talking about it. You were on this show, and we started this show June 1, 1989. And it was about 90 or 91 when you were on here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be. If not long, I seem like longer than that.
Well, because it's on top of the hill over New Providence.
That's right.
Is where
It
we
was.
take
Sure
this
was.
show at. Robert is owner, partner of Gibbs Electric, 65 years. That's
Right.
amazing.
It's a long time.
Long time.
Yeah, my grandfather and father, well, my grandfather started the business. They started doing electric wiring originally. Then we got into the appliance service business, and then we got into parts, and like I say, it's been 65 years.
You and your brother Scott.
Right.
Right there on Greenwood Avenue, across from Smith School. You've been there the whole time also. haven't you?
Yeah, I stay on the road doing service work,
Yeah.
and Scott stays in the building. He sells parts and appliances and things.
Now, before being on the county commission, 14 years almost, what is that, District 5?
District 5.
District 5. You were the election commissioner for Montgomery County for, 6 years?
Yeah, I served 6 years. State Senator Carol Rice appointed me on the election commission when she got elected.
What do you do as the election commissioner? What's done?
You oversee the elections.
Everything?
Yeah, and you make the decisions. If there's a problem that goes before this board, the majority party has 3 members on this board, and the minority party has 2. Of course, when I was on there, the Republicans were in the minority, so we just had 2.
2.
Now the Republicans have the majority.
They have the majority. 14 years on the county commission. And I kidded when I was doing the introduction. Robert No Gibbs. One of the things I like about Robert, he doesn't have maybe Donald Trump's money, but you're going to vote the way you think is right and the way your constituency wants you to vote, aren't you?
Well, from the day one when I ran, I've done what I said I'd do from day one till now, and I'm not going to quit.
And what is that?
I'm representing the people. I'm trying to conserve spending, and not buy these things we don't need. I mean, we're 351 million in debt. I'm trying to hold the debt down, and of course I know I've been in the minority, but I think we need to pay our debt down and just provide the basic services that we need. I mean, people out here in the community, they're taxed to death.
Amen.
And I just don't see how they can afford what they're paying now. And, you know, every time you build another project or open a new park or whatever, you know, you got to borrow the money to build it. And then, you know, they got to raise taxes, because every time they raise buy something to build, I mean, the only way they can get the money is raise property tax.
You know, Robert, in your district, you correct me if I'm wrong, I imagine you got a lot of people on fixed incomes also.
Yeah, a lot of my district is senior citizens.
Senior citizens.
Retired people.
Because it's Old Town. Well, it's where I was born on Greenwood Avenue. Of course, y'all been there forever.
Well, I've lived on Greenwood Avenue all my life.
All your life.
54 years.
54 years. And a lot of people on fixed incomes. And how do we repair it? What do we do, Robert?
Well,
a lot of people want something, and I guess it's hard to say no. You can say no, but it's hard for a lot of people that are in political office to say no. But there comes a point where you got to do just what you say. Sometimes you just got to stop, don't you?
Well, right now we can stop. I mean, we can not build these projects and try to pay the debt off, but at some point you get the debt too high, it's going to be mandatory. You're going to have to cut your budgets, and you're going to have to cut back. Right now we can do it voluntarily, you know, but of course, you look from here all the way to Washington, D.C. with $19 trillion in debt, and they're not worrying about it at all, sending money overseas that we don't have, all these wasteful projects. I mean, something's going to have to change.
You are a Republican.
Yeah, I've been a Republican all my life.
All your life.
Mm-hmm.
Is the party what you want it to be today?
No, I'm very disappointed in the party. We've elected the Senate and the Congress. You know, the last election, they were going to try to straighten some of these problems out. They have done nothing but fall in line with what's already going on. And, I'm very disappointed in them. We need some major changes. You know, and like I say, I hope, of course, I'm for Donald Trump for president. And I think he's the only one that can go in there and shake things up and maybe stop some of these problems, stop some of these lobbyists from giving money to these congressmen and senators. They're influencing what's going on, not the people they represent.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. A lot of people fear Donald Trump, what he might do. May get us in a war, may do this. You're not afraid of what he might do, right?
No. I'm not afraid of what he can do. We need something different. The establishment is not helping the people of this country. We need somebody new, and he's the only one that's a chance of doing that. You know, he don't need their money. He don't need the lobbyists, and I think he'll go in and get rid of a bunch of these people we don't need and bring somebody in there. He's going to bring people in here who knows what's going on, and that's what needs to happen.
Now, your background, we talked about Gibbs Electric, 65 years, over on Greenwood Avenue. Your mother's still living.
Right, she's still living.
She's still living. Your father, who was a well-liked man, Wayne, he passed away how long ago?
It's been about 12 years now.
About 12 years that he passed away. Now, your granddaddy, he was sort of a special person also, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he a wrestler?
Oh, he was a referee. He wrestled and refereed both.
And refereed both, didn't he?
Yeah, him and Charlie Vaden were big buddies.
Was it Tarzan Vaden?
No, I called him Tarzan Gibbs.
Tarzan Gibbs,
yeah.
Yes, Tarzan Gibbs.
But they used to wrestle and over at Pyres Arena on Cumberland Drive.
My granddaddy, on the Darnell side, he used to take me, man. He loved that stuff.
Well, my grandfather, when he was, of course, back then, they took whatever job. That was before we were ever in business. I mean, they took whatever job they could get,
Right.
I remember him saying they were making $10 a month. You know, it seems unreal now.
I know.
But they said $2 you could fill up a pickup the back of a truck full of groceries. You know, it just seems unreal. But he used to. He had a job in Florida one time. He was deep sea diving. Now, you're talking about years ago, and they had him wearing suits.
Really?
Yeah, he done that for a while. And he actually, this guy he was working for in Florida, when this train run off in Cumberland River years ago, this guy took the contract to cut this train up and get it out of the river. Well, he went to work for him doing that.
He did.
Yeah, so he had a job of cutting it up. He said there was some catfish, the biggest catfish he ever seen in there.
You know, I had heard that. I heard it was some huge catfish down there.
Well, he said he would take a torch, his air torch, I guess, they used then. He said that pieces of those chips of metal would come off that train where they was cutting it in two. These catfish would come up and eat it.
Really?
Said they'd be flopping because it's red hot. I mean, it's just red, and that's what attracted them to it. And they were swallowing these pieces of.
Golly, it'd kill them, wouldn't it?
Well, no, evidently it didn't. No, it didn't kill any of them, but they were flopping real good.
I imagine they were.
It was red hot,
Yeah. What possessed you? Why did you run for county commission?
Well, I've talked to a lot of people in my district, and they were wanting some help. They said they were taxed to death. They couldn't afford what they were paying, and they need somebody who would represent them and what they needed, and that's why I ran.
Is there any projects that you just think we've gone way too far with that we should just settle back? Or is it spin, and you're just against it all? You want to apply it to this? But is there any projects or anything that has happened that thoroughly just disgust you?
Well, I was against this Bank of America property that we bought downtown.
Yeah.
I just don't feel that we needed it. I think it's a waste of money, and it's going to cost several $1 million once we do this project, and I just don't think it's necessary.
You don't think it will bring the people downtown that they have suggested that it's going to revitalize downtown?
Well, I've been here all my life, and I remember when downtown was thriving.
So do I.
And that's never coming back.
I agree.
There's no parking downtown. You've got these parking meters, and these businesses, a lot of them, they can't compete with Walmart and all these places, and they can't go down there and pay high rent and all and survive. I mean, you just can't do it. If my family had been in business downtown, we wouldn't be in business.
Really?
You couldn't make it if we were downtown.
It is tough. I mean, it is tough. I mean, I think downtown can be vital again, but obviously we'd be naive if we thought it'd ever be like it was going to be.
Oh, it's never
back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. That was prior to all of our malls and all coming in.
Well, my opinion, of course, when the tornado hit downtown Clarksville, if they had had bulldozed all those buildings down in and built like a mall down there, took all them parking meters up and throw them in the garbage, they might have brought downtown back. But I just don't believe what they're doing is going to do it.
District 5 Commissioner Robert Gibbs, our guest today, one-on-one. As you can tell, he tells it just like he feels it. We'll be back with Robert right after this. Hopefully tune in to Heartland Radio, the only locally owned, locally operated radio stations in the area. 105.1 on the FM, WVRY, and the oldest station around, 1400 AM, WJZM. Tennessee Vol Sports, Austin P Sports, the Atlanta Braves, news, talk, weather, and great music. Solid Gospel 105.1 and 1400 AM WJZM. Tune in.
Thank you. It's the big savings event at Matthews Nissan in Clarksville or MatthewsNissan.com. $7,500 off a new Altima. $7,500 unbelievable. $6,500 off a new Rogue. $2,500 off a new Frontier. New Versa $9,999. Save big on 400 new. You're going to love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices. Matthews Nissan.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
Welcome back. Robert Gibbs, our guest today, County Commissioner, District 5, Gibbs Electric. They've been here 65 plus years. Greenwood Avenue. Y'all sell appliances, parts, repairs,
service, right.
service. You do it all. 65 years. You and your brother Scott.
Yes, Scott runs the parts store, and I stay out on the road doing
Now,
service.
Scott's a big Democrat, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We're kidding. We're kidding. What's the number at Gibbs Electric if they need something?
It's 647-6228.
We'll put that on the screen, 931-647-6228. Appliance. You sell some used appliances.
We sell used appliances and parts. That's mainly what Scott does, and he works on appliances brought in the store.
Brought in the store.
And I do them out in the home.
Yeah, and you do them out in the home. Robert, do you have anyone you go to for advice? I ask that question a lot, but I think it's important.
Used to. I don't anymore. My grandfather and father was probably the ones I used to go
Well, I guess now I'm the one you go to, right?
to. Yeah, when we're eating breakfast, it's busy me. Yeah.
We sure eat good there, though.
Yeah,
don't
we do.
Good meal. You don't get to read as much as you used to. Most of your reading now, I guess, on Facebook, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I got on Facebook. Wasn't on it for a long time.
know.
I finally got on it, but I use it a lot just to see what people's thinking, when I find out a lot of information on there.
Oh, and you like to put a lot of stuff on there and have some laughs.
Oh, yeah, I'll wear them
let's
out.
face it. You got a sense of humor. You
Yeah.
got a dry sense of humor.
No, everybody's too serious. You need to be,
That's what I like. When we're around each other, Robert, we always laugh, don't we?
yeah. If we're not, something's wrong.
Something's wrong. Have you ever had a hero?
Well, I've had several. Well, probably my grandfather.
Yeah.
Probably.
Lennis.
Yeah, Lennis Gibbs.
Lennis Gibbs.
Uh-huh.
And the one I knew the best growing up was Danny Joe.
Right, yeah, that's my uncle.
Your uncle, Danny Joe. Do you have a best childhood memory?
Well, I've got several, but I used to, we'd have cookouts and all the family would get together and, holidays and things like that. That was probably my best memories.
I'm going to tell you something else. Gibbs Electric, in my opinion, locally is famous. I know my dad, it's election central. People come around there and talk politics. Y'all used to have get-togethers, barbecues.
Oh, yeah.
Things like
Still do.
Yeah, I even think that Governor Haslam dropped by not long. Well,
Yeah, he was here last year. He sure was.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, we've had Haslam's been there. Don Sundquist when he was governor. Well, he was congressman then, was there. And we've had several. Of course, Curtis Johnson, Speaker Pro Temp, he's over there all the time.
That's one of your buddies.
Oh, yeah, I've known him. I remember Curtis when he...
I think you headed up his campaign when he ran.
Well, he worked out of my building over there at where Bothrop's Grocery. He had his headquarters there when he first ran.
Right.
And
Dewey Bothrop.
I remember Curtis when I first met him. Of course, I was probably 17 at that time when we first met him. He got out of the Navy, and he started working on window air conditioners and doing refrigeration. He went to college over at Austin Peay. That's where we first met him. He's been friends of our family ever since.
Yeah, I've known him a long time also. You know, Robert, if you had a chance for a do-over in life, would you do anything differently?
Pretty much, I do what I've already done.
You would, wouldn't you? I
Yeah.
mean, you're one of these guys that, hey, if you don't want to know the truth, don't ask.
Well, when I was in elementary, a lot of people try to figure out what they're going to do in life. I knew what I was going to do when I was in grade school. I was doing appliance repair and service. I mean, I grew up in it.
Right.
I've probably been working on appliances since I was 10 years old.
You didn't have far to go to Smith School, did you?
No, just across the street for 6 years, because it was 1 through 6 when I went. They didn't have kindergarten then.
Right. Man, they didn't when I was in school. If you were president, what's the first thing you would do, Robert?
Cut out all this expense we don't need to be doing. Cut all this aid to foreign countries that hate us.
That hate us?
Yeah.
That are going against us, but yet we pay them.
That would be one of the first things I would do.
I'm with you.
That's what I tried to do on the county, and I would do the same thing up in Washington.
Right. And I don't blame you a bit.
Which wouldn't be very popular.
Is there anyone from history that you would have liked to have met?
Well, I like Civil War stuff, and I just read a lot when I did get a chance about the Civil War. I like to have met Stonewall Jackson.
Boy, they say he was a tough character.
Oh, yeah. But he knew what he was doing.
Well, it sure hurt at Gettysburg, though, him not being there till late.
That might have made a difference.
It probably did.
Yeah, it sure did. I believe that.
I mean, he was Lee's right hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, like you said, when he died, he lost his right arm.
Exactly. That Lee never got over that, did he?
No.
Never got over that. Robert Gibbs, Commissioner, District 5 here in Montgomery County. Stretch run right after this.
Thank you. It's the big savings event at Matthews Nissan in Clarksville or MatthewsNissan.com. $7,500 off a new Altima. $7,500 unbelievable. $6,500 off a new Road. $2,500 off a new Frontier. New Versa $9,999. Save big on 400 new. You're going to love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices. Matthews Nissan.
100 years, Neil Tarpley Parchment Funeral Home has celebrated legacies with services as unique as each life.
Neil Tarpley Parchment, people who care, a name you can trust.
Stretch run, our guest Robert Gibbs, good friend of mine. Controversial. You don't mind being a little controversial, do you?
Well, I've been known for that.
And, hey, if it's a no vote, no one's going to change. I never will forget somebody said, they asked Curtis, or they said, get him to vote this way. What did Curtis tell him?
Yeah, they said he couldn't get me to vote for what he wanted. How's he going to do that?
You go vote your convictions.
I do what I think that my people want done. That's what I'm doing.
And that's what you're supposed to do.
That's who elects me, and that's who I'm trying to represent, whether it's popular or not.
What's the best advice Robert Gibbs ever received?
Probably most saying, do unto others that you'd have them do unto you.
Well, that's as good as you can get. Who are the people that have influenced you most, Robert?
Probably my family. Like I say, because I worked with my family. We've been a family business. I was around them. Of course, I had a lot of friends years ago, and I was, like Charlie Jones and Charlie Vade and all them was around there, and they were, I knew all them when I was a kid.
What is the truest sign of success?
That you like what you're doing. That's one thing. And another thing, of course, you want to make money. That's why you're working. You know?
Well, sure. What characteristic do you admire most in a person?
Being honest. You can believe what they tell you.
That's becoming fewer and far between.
Yeah, it's hard to find.
Is there anything you're the proudest of as far as your accomplishments?
Well, one thing I was proud of by being on the commission is, they were going to build a major shelter in my district, and I got that beat and removed.
Yeah.
And that's made a big difference in my district, because we had homeless and all roaming around there night and day on Greenwood Avenue when the Salvation Army was there, and I got that beat, and they also moved it out of my district, so that was one of my...
Our homeless population seems to be growing around here.
Well, it will. The more of these shelters you build, they're going to come. They'll be here. They come all over the country. They can tell you where every one of them is.
You think so?
I guarantee they can. You ask one of them. They know where Nashville and all these can. I couldn't tell you where none of them were, But they know them.
What about all these people that are on the corners and this, that, and the other? Should something be done about that?
Well, you're not supposed to be out and soliciting anyway on the road, but they don't do nothing to them. Most of them are professionals,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody minds helping somebody that's really down and out, but these professional bums, it's ridiculous,
What about movies? You got a favorite movie? We talk about movies a lot.
Probably the last one, the good one I really liked was Lonesome Dove.
Oh, classic.
You can't beat that.
You can't. Tommy Lee Jones, Robert Duvall.
That was one of the best westerns in a long time.
You have a favorite TV show?
Talking about series or just a program?
It doesn't matter.
Well, I like The Sopranos.
Oh, I love The Sopranos.
That was probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, I got you. Been great, man.
Same here.
District 5, Gibbs Electric. We'll flash that number up. Appliances, parts, repair. They take care of it all. And certainly, if you're politically inclined, you'll even talk a little politics.
Yeah, I've been known to do that.
A time or two. Thanks for visiting with us. Always good.
Appreciate you having me.
And I want to thank Steve Sawyer behind the scenes. Certainly thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Tell your friends, neighbors, and loved ones about the show. Anyone I know, meet, or talk with is a potential guest. For Robert, staff, yours truly, Greg Walker. Until next time, have a very nice rest of the day, folks.